Worth it.
Alright, guys, this is the Hangover Sports NFL 2025 mock draft 1.0. We're going to do 5 of these up until the actual NFL draft in April. Me and Trey. And we're just going to run through every pick 1 through 32 in the first round. We're not going to do the other rounds because we just don't care that much. It's for GMs to do, not super fans. So yeah, without further ado, we're gonna talk through each pick, and together we're kind of just gonna come to a duo mock draft. We're just gonna work through it together and figure it out.
Like it.
So yeah, let's start this up.
Get into it.
So Trey,
Let's start with the first pick here.
Yeah, man. So I want to hear your thoughts. First overall pick. If you're the GM of the Titans, who are you taking this year? Any player in the draft. It's a good draft class. It's a good draft class. Many positions.
It is. Based on what I've heard, it looks like the Titans are taking Travis Hunter. That's what I believe from what I've been seeing.
Your sources. Trey's sources.
That's what I've been seeing.
Telling him that the Titans are going for Travis Hunter.
Yeah, and I think either they think they can get a year out of Will Levis, one more. They can do this, maybe switch off between Rudolph and Levis, or
go get a Carson Wentz.
I think they're just gonna have to tank it out. But I think Travis Hunter is a great addition to the team, and they said they're not gonna pass up a generational prospect just to take a QB. So I don't know. I mean, I think they need a cornerback, and they could use an extra wide receiver for a few plays. I think it's a perfect pick for him.
Because, you know,
Shiv, who do you have for your number one pick?
I was thinking Cam Ward. Debated it a lot. Never had a high turnover, touchdown interception ratio in college. Consistently, over the course of his career, every single year got better. And I do think Cam Ward's a great player. You know, you and I have talked about this. I think it was the Titans owner, I just searched it out, Titans owner saying that kind of solidifies that he's right. They would be stupid to not go for him. That would be a Jerry Jones move to have the first overall pick and not go for Travis Hunter. So,
right.
In that right, I think we just throw him on in there. So now, I think logically, we're just going to say the obvious. The Cleveland Browns will be drafting Cam Ward.
Cam Ward. I think so, too.
I actually also think, like, that's a situation where Deshaun is going to get... He's going to get any loophole they can find. He's going to get the rug pulled out from under him. That's what I was looking for. At some point soon. I think they're going to keep Jameis around. Jameis will be like a Mariota-type presence for him.
Mm-hmm.
He could be like an older Matt Ryan presence for him. Well, older Matt Ryan. Ryan Fitzpatrick, not Matt Ryan.
Yeah.
Be like a Ryan Fitzpatrick, Mariota. I guess Sam Darnold kind of guy. To Cam.
I could definitely see that, though. If you have a young... I mean...
They're very similar.
Think about the Commanders. They drafted Jane Daniels and then Mariota behind them.
Same thing.
Yeah.
Both situations. So.
And Stefanski's still a coach of the Browns, right?
Yes, and that's a
That's what I'm saying.
That's a
trade good coach.
That could keep a guy like Myles Garrett in Cleveland for say another year or two. Myles Garrett, I believe, is like 27. He's entering his prime. He'll be all right.
It's a big decision
Yeah,
for him to either stay or go. I mean, it really probably comes down to the pick.
They really will, and that's why I think like they're not gonna be stupid if they take whoever takes Shador.
I can't see him taking Shador. I
I
can't see Shador going to Cleveland. I don't know why, but I don't see it happening.
Shador, Dion in New York.
Yeah,
I also
neighbors,
I
and you
also
got
really
Tracy.
think there's a world where Shador falls like legitimately to like the Steelers or someone.
I, I could see him falling.
He could
I
fall
could see
for
somebody rising, like I could see like Jackson Dart coming out of nowhere after the combine. Kind of like like how JJ McCarthy just kind of skyrocketed, like everybody was hyping him up right before the draft last year.
yeah.
That's what I think is going to happen with one of these guys, like Ewers or Dart or
It'll be
just I
Jackson
don't know,
Dart.
just one of those guys. Yeah,
I still think he's the most not outside of Cam Wood. He's the most pro ready, in my opinion. Might not be good opinion, but I think he is.
okay, so we have Shador going 3 to the Giants. Comes down to my team here at the fourth pick, Patriots.
I'm gonna let you make the decision here.
Well,
I think we all know who you want.
yeah, player who I want, and also who I think we're going to take is Abdul Carter, and I pray that we do because although the line's pretty bad, probably it is to be the worst in the NFL. You watched that Chargers game. That was the first primetime game where they showed Drake May, and um, you're just watching the defense against Herbert. And the Chargers O line, I mean, they're good. They're all right, but they're not the best. And Herbert's just standing in the pocket for like 10 seconds every single play, and we just couldn't get by him. We had no pressure pretty much all year, but that game was just even the announcers were just making fun of our D line because they just couldn't get by. It was like a brick wall. It was ridiculous. So as much as we need a lineman, I think we could take one either the second round or the third round, or even
Free
get one in
agency.
free agency because we have 120 million in cap space. So I think we need a guy like we had in Judon. I think we take Abdul Carter
I like the
the
pick.
fourth pick
I
if
like it a
he's still
lot.
there.
I
Like,
I think he'll be there. I mean, I personally found
mhm.
like I found zero reason. I mean, he was my favorite player that we knew was going to be in the draft, and that was 4 months ago. And then he went on and finished up his monster season. And I think people are like laughing at Penn State. I'm like, a trip to the top eight to be a top eight team and be in the quarterfinals of the college football playoffs is no small feat. You feel me? Or were they a semifinal team, right?
Right. Um.
No.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, they were
They played
semifinals.
Notre Dame. What am I saying?
Yep. So I mean, yeah,
So
he definitely helped bring that team there. I mean, he had great games,
defensively, he was the
especially in the
driving
Notre Dame
force.
game.
I mean, realistically.
Yeah, he was all over the field. He's a great talent, and I would love to have him play for Patriots,
Oh,
but
dude, I think every play.
we'll
I
see.
think I think
I'd be fine with linemen too, but I'd
I
rather
think you're
Abdul
getting
Carter.
Campbell or Carter. I think that also brings up here the
Mm-hmm.
Jaguars. I like the point you made
With their
earlier,
pick.
though. So I'm gonna switch it up a little here. I'm gonna
Oh,
spit something off the dome here, and something you stated earlier. Will Campbell has short arms. Probably gonna get moved to guard. And
that is true.
the way I look at it, Jaguars have 2 picks, 3 picks here. A lot of mock drafts have him going Mason Graham. Mason Graham's a great talent. They have two good edge rushers in Josh Allen and
Yep.
Trayvon Walker. I think there's a lot to be said about solidifying the D line. I think there's a lot to be said about reinforcing your secondary. I think there's also
It's a need.
a lot to be said about reinforcing your O line. I think those are the three guys on the board for them.
Yeah, I think so too.
I do think Will Johnson is
I,
the player they'll pick.
mhm. I think it's a good pick. I think it's a needed pick.
I think so too. C.J. Henderson never panned out for them. The last good corner they had before
Mhm.
that was Jalen Ramsey in 2017.
Yeah, AJ Bouye too,
Yeah,
but
like
he fizzled out
I
pretty
mean that
quick.
was the end of his career. I think they go Will
Yeah.
Johnson. I think he will have a great year if he stays healthy. There's a
Mhm.
world where he's next year's Derek Stingley Jr. Realistically, genuinely.
Yep. They
Um,
definitely could be. Sky's the limit for Will Johnson, honestly. I mean,
it
he's a talent.
it really just depends. Like the Jags just need a good DC. Liam
Yeah.
Cohen's gonna be a good offensive play caller. He will. He did fine in the Bucks games. It's really gonna come down to DC, but talent in the building, Will Johnson will do it, and I think at that point he will be the best defensive player on the board. Realistically,
I
like I
think so
don't think
too.
it's close. Here, we've talked about this. It's pretty obvious who the Raiders are going to go. There's no good QBs on the board in terms of drafting them at 6th overall. I don't think you go GT with
Yeah.
Madison, uh, Zamir White, or Amir Abdullah in the room now. And again, like a team like the Raiders, you got to start from the ground up. Although, and there is something to be said about maybe, they I don't remember his fucking name, but their safety is a free agent this offseason. He's he's like a top 20 or 30 free agent. And there's a world where they could go get a DB. Let's just peruse. Like, see, the only player of this group, the only two, three people I would consider taking here. Boom, boom. That's it. And that is really going to come down to combine performance if they get picked this early, you know.
Yeah.
But in terms of the Raiders, they could do literally anything. I, you talked about Tet.
They have a lot to fill. I think it's a Ted pick.
Yeah,
That's what I'm thinking.
I agree.
I mean, you can't have Jacoby Myers as your wide receiver one. Like you just can't do it.
It'll be good to get Brock Bowers' weapons in the building because there's
Mm-hmm.
a lot to be said about just letting Aiden O'Connell ride out on his rookie deal. Just let him ride out
Yeah.
and see what happens. Sky is probably untouchable for that team, but they can
Mm-hmm.
at least garner some respect in terms of not being just like a consistently dog shit team year in year out. And I don't necessarily think Tyrell McMillan's bad. I just think he's slightly overrated. Um,
Mm-hmm. I think so too.
I think people think he's gonna be like the next Randy Moss, and I think he's gonna be the
I don't
next.
believe so.
I think he'll be like a less consistent Mike Evans, a beast, right? Like uses his size to his advantage, but he ain't gonna go for
Mm-hmm.
15 straight 1,000-yard seasons. I really don't think
No, I
he'll.
was gonna compare him. My comparison was Mike Williams.
I think they're still very similar. It's a
I think
bigger.
it's just the bigger guy. I mean, the only thing I saw when I was watching McMillan is he just can't
What is he 6'4"?
really create a lot of separation. And he was playing against Pac-12 teams, and Pac-12 defenses are known to be,
Yeah, he's 6'5".
those games are shootouts pretty much every week. So
He is 6'5". I
yeah,
think the
I mean
Raiders
that's
go out and
pretty
get
good.
him. I think putting him alongside Bowers, I think the running backs will have a bounce back season. I think it's a good pick for them.
I think so too.
So it's 7. See, the Jets, again,
7, we got the Jets.
another team who needs everything.
Mhm.
Go ahead. Oh, shit. Goddamn. Turn this fan on. So here I think there's a very Jets move to be made here. Um, and then there's the right move to be made. Now, if I'm Aaron Glenn, you've got DBs in the building.
Yep.
What's to stop you from going and getting a Mason Graham or a James Pierce Jr.?
True.
I think Rodgers leaves, you're stuck fighting for a quarterback. We know you need one. But unless you trade up, you ain't getting Cam Ward or Shador Sanders. You're better off waiting until the second round and taking a shot at Milrow or Ewers or Dart. This can't be last year where all 5 QBs go in the first fucking round.
No, I don't think it's going to be one of those.
It won't.
Because the quarterbacks just aren't as good.
And the skill positions
They're
are
just
just
flat
so
out not
much
as
better.
good.
Even though the skill positions last year were amazing, I genuinely minus wide receiver, every other position's better. And it was legitimately just a generational wide receiver class last year. You got to think. 2,000-yard rookie receivers in Brian Thomas Jr. and Malik
Yep.
Neighbors.
Lad
Ryan
Lad
McConkey
as well.
also had 1,000 yards. I forgot. Marvin Harrison Jr. will get his targets as that offense becomes more fine-tuned. I'm forgetting someone. Romo Duns will have his time to shine this year. Ben Johnson.
Yeah.
I think the Jets will go. Because you got to think. Quinton Williams is interior D-line, right?
Oh, yeah, he's just D1.
I think they'll go for Mason Graham. I think the pick makes too much sense. I think it'll be nasty if you can keep all these players, and if you don't, you retain a trenches guy, a Chris Jones-esque player, style with the run, get in a quarterback's face, demands a double team. He's a stud.
I think Mason Graham is also the pick. I think he's just the best player available there.
He's just
They
made the
need a
right pick.
D lineman.
And then again, I think in terms of this, like you're the Panthers. You know, you have 50-50 flip a coin. It's Malachi Starks or JP Shooter. You have to go defense. Best player available, it's Malachi Starks realistically. And that's what I think they'll go for. I think he's good.
Yeah, and I'm okay. I'm okay with them going with either. Even Michael Williams from Georgia too. I'm
I
fine with that.
agree. They could go fucking Jack Sawyer, dude. I'm not even gonna lie to you. They could go Jack Sawyer. Like they need a
Yeah, that's
defensive
also
player.
okay.
Just buy into someone. Someone needs to go to that defense. Whether it be Benjamin Morrison, whether it be fucking dude, it could be Jadae Barron. It doesn't matter. It could be Demetrius Knight Jr. I don't think he's gonna go. Just draft a defensive player. That's all you need. Your offense is good. Genuinely, it's good. That being said,
Yeah.
this high of a pick, typically teams do like to go D-line this early on in the draft because it is such a premium. I do think James Pierce Jr. is that guy. But I am expecting this to be Michael Williams. I think he's one of the guys who's going to make a run at the combine that vaults his draft stock. And it's for good reason. He's a freak of nature.
Yeah.
And I think that will genuinely be the Panthers pick because I think originally start of the college football playoff, the Panthers were mocked to get Abdul Carter at 8. And it's like, well, times have changed.
Yeah,
So
got to get with the program.
I do think Michael Williams is the pick here. I think edge rusher is the smart thing to do because you got to look. Holy fuck. God, doing this sick is not for the fucking week, dude. I think they'll go Michael Williams. I don't know how you feel about that.
I'm fine with it. I think that's a good pick.
Yeah.
He proved himself. I mean, he did get injured at the end, but I think it's still a pick that he could easily take.
Yeah. So now, in terms of the Saints are in a
Okay.
fucking mess. But you had a certain pick. You took the
Saints,
Saints.
we have a different pick on this one.
No, I'm gonna let you have this one because I think you're cooking.
All right. I am going to say that Tyler Warren is going to be a New Orleans Saint.
Explain though.
I well, I'm saying that because defense, kind of mid, but you think about it, and the offense. Who's your tight end? Taysom Hill, which sorry,
And they don't receive
it's not a generate. Oh, and Jawan Johnson too. I mean, those are two guys that you know they're all right. I mean, they're not horrible, but you see other teams picking Brock Bowers
Yeah.
up high,
Yeah.
and now look at the Raiders. They could possibly have a tight end if they can extend them for 10, maybe 15 years, and maybe even more. So, and that's a position that's hard to get. There's not a lot of like crazy generational tight ends that come by. Um, I think Pitts got picked before. What are the Saints at 10? No, they're at 9. I think Pitts got picked before that.
He was like
He got
6.
picked pretty high.
He was like
Yeah,
6 or 8 or some shit.
yeah. When you have a generational tight end like that, you have to pull the trigger because
He is very good.
it's one of those positions that. Yeah, he is. I mean,
I'm not mad at it at
without
all.
him, I don't know if Penn State's going that far. I don't know if Penn State's making the playoffs.
He is their best
I
receiving
mean,
option
maybe
consistently.
true.
We can just leave it at that. He's a generational tight end.
Yeah, and I think you gotta when you're in the need of a tight end, you have the opportunity to take one. I believe you should always take one.
It's fair. I think we know what the next 2 picks are going to be. And this is what a lot of mock drafts are pointing to. So we'll just get it out the way. I think Bears go Campbell at 10. I think Niners go for Kelvin Banks Jr. at 11. I think it's going to be between him and James Pierce Jr. for the Niners, and I do think that they will go offensive line for one reason. Trent Williams is old. Trent Williams is like 37 years old. 36 or 37 years old. He's
Yeah.
old. Tragedy struck his family this offseason. And it's been a rough year for the Niners. He's getting old. I do think Trent Williams gives it one more year. I think he'll play next season. But I think we're in for a really, really weird year with Trent Williams possibly playing on the right.
Oh,
And that is purely going to be if he wants to let Banks take the left, play the blind side, and actually get used to his role on the team the next few years. I mean, I think O-line's the right pick for both of these teams. I think it'd be stupid if you didn't go O-line. I think that does play right into the Cowboys' hands with getting exactly who they want to get. And I think the league is probably going to be pissed. But the Dallas Cowboys are going after GT 12.
I think it's a perfect pick.
I think you and I both have been expecting this. I think that's where this entire draft, like, all jokes aside,
I think the world's expecting it.
the world
He
is
wants to play
expect.
for the. It's just perfect. They need
Jerry
him. They
wants the
need a
money
running
maker.
back.
Jerry wants the money maker.
Jerry.
No said.
Jerry's got his guy.
So now here's where the
Yeah.
draft starts to get complicated, in my opinion. I
All
don't know
right,
if
here
you
we
have
go. What do
opinions
we
on who
got?
the Dolphins go here.
I I think that's a Malachi Starks pick.
Agree. And think with the
I'm sitting
Colts,
there and I'm thinking about that Dolphins defense,
they just need
and there
a
was
commander.
one player who was really disappointing, and that is your boy coming from the Bills, Jordan Boyer.
He's old.
He was a complete
Failure.
disappointment.
Failure's
Yeah,
crazy. But
and
yeah.
you need somebody to man
And who
that
better
deep.
than a fucking rookie who can just sink his teeth into the defense and take over? That's
Yeah, a young guy who's flying around.
what I'm
The
saying.
perfect
It's a great
upgrade
pick.
for him. I mean, what else do they need? Line, but like,
Interior D line and then O line. They just need to reinforce the trenches, but it was either going to be Starks or Simmons. The Dolphins are just a team that would
yeah,
go and draft Malachi Starks in the first round and draft Josh Simmons, which is it's okay. I don't really care that much. I don't think it's that big of a deal. I do
yeah,
think the Colts pick is pretty straightforward. I mean, I think DeForest Buckner's starting to get ready to lead the team. You're getting ready to clean house on the defense. I think you reinforce the defense with a young edge rusher. I think that's the most simple way in this day and age in the NFL. You want to shake up your defense and make them immediately better than they were before. Put a young, talented edge rusher in the defense and just let him hit the ground running. Give him what he needs to succeed.
yeah.
And that's what I think the Colts are going to do with James Pierce Jr.
Okay.
Now, I'll let
So,
you take
okay.
this because I think you know who they should pick here. And I'm going to let you
Just
take this.
confirm. Colts took James Pearson.
Did you have the Falcons getting him?
No, no. I'm just
Yeah.
wondering.
Are you cool with the Colts getting him?
Yeah, yeah, that's fine.
All right,
That's a
cool.
good thing.
Yeah, all right, cool.
Oh, I gotta move up here. Okay. With the Falcons pick, think I don't think they need a wide receiver. I know it says it needs a wide receiver, but it's good. I don't know if they're gonna keep Pitts. I've seen a lot of things about them getting rid of Pitts.
I think the smart thing for them to do.
But they have Ray McLeod. McLeod's nice. Luther Burden wouldn't be a bad slot option for him. But they already have McLeod. That's the thing.
That's my thing. It's like they have Mooney, McLeod, London, Pitts, Bijan, Algier. The offensive weapons group is fine in my opinion. I really
I think
think
it's
they've
fine. I
got to
think they
go
need to focus
defense.
the defense.
Holy
Yes.
fuck.
And corners, they have AJ Terrell. They could use a second corner.
Detroit could.
I think they need more. I think linebackers their biggest need here.
You thinking what I'm thinking? You're thinking. Is it time?
I'm thinking. Who do you think I'm thinking right now?
Dooner's guy. Excuse me. Could be
Maybe
Jihad
not.
Campbell. Nah, he's like a second round pick though.
I'm thinking. Man, honestly, I'm looking at the prospects right now. And I don't know if you want to reach for a linebacker.
Fuck no. I would go safe corner here.
You go corner.
I'd go safe corner here, or I would just go BPA and Mika Egbuka.
I think about edge rusher.
But the
I
thing
would
with
think
edge
about an edge
rusher is,
rusher here.
I think with edge rusher is you've got
You
good
have
options.
Judon.
Judon.
You have Judon, but Judon
Oh,
did not
in
play well
Atlanta.
this year.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Judon's in Atlanta,
I
but
do
he
think
just didn't
Shamar
play
Stewart
well.
is a good pick here. Like, I really wouldn't be mad at them for going for him. I wouldn't. The thing is with Mike Green, he could be gas. He could be crazy. He's a Marshall boy.
Yeah, I haven't watched a lot of Mike Green.
Me
Not
neither.
gonna lie. I wouldn't mind the Shamar Stewart. I wouldn't mind Jack Sawyer here either, honestly.
I do think Shamar Stewart is, and this is respect to Jack Sawyer. I do think Shamar Stewart is just a polished prospect.
Okay,
So I do think that's the pick they'll make here.
I like it. I don't know. I think they definitely need a front seven player,
And
and
he's probably the best one on the board.
yeah, I think so.
All right, so Cardinals
It's
at
a
pick
good pick.
16. I'm just gonna call for what it is.
Cardinals lead.
I
What do you
think
got?
this is the team that goes for Josh Simmons. This is the team that's gonna take the
On you
last O
got
lineman off the board. In my opinion.
I think of Josh Simmons.
Look, it's like, do you think Armand Membo is as good of a O lineman as Simmons, Campbell, or KBJ? Do you think Simmons is as good
I
of an O
think
lineman
he's
as the other two?
worse, but I think he's worse, but he's there's a big gap between
One, two, and then
him and the
three, and
rest
then
of them.
four.
Yeah, I think he's a. I mean, he's up there. Don't get me wrong,
Look, the
but
Cardinals are either gonna go
I think those three are closer than the rest of.
the pack.
Yeah, I think like Membo's a little bit
Farther.
more down. Yeah, a little bit more
Like
down than Simmons.
he is a second round pick worthy player, in my opinion. He is definitely a second round worthy pick player in my opinion. He sh- Cardinals gotta commit to a trenches player. You could argue
Yeah,
that you don't have to argue that Josh Simmons is the best player on the board. He legitimately is got the argument there for him to be the best player on the board at this point. I think it makes too much sense. And I think everyone's looking at like the Bengals, and I'm just like the Bengals are gonna go straight defense here, so I don't think they care. I think it's more
yeah.
like the Seahawks.
They need to go defense.
Yeah, they have to. So like I think Cardinals just make the safe pick, go Josh Simmons, last O lineman, off the board early. Now here for them, I think they're gonna
I
go
think that's a
Jack Sawyer.
needed pick too.
I think they're gonna, and I think they'll fuck up and go Jack Sawyer when Benjamin Morrison and Jahdae Barron are on the board, and that's two All-American corners. But in saying that, there's a very good chance they probably go for one of those two All-American corners.
Definitely could.
And I actually do think Barron is a better prospect than Morrison. Genuinely.
Hmm.
Let's look. Okay. Just
So
keep a mental memory of these snaps. Okay, of these counts. Okay. All right. You say call it how it is. I think overall they're very good prospects, but to play 971 snaps on defense and 36 receptions on 67 targets on the year is nuts. For 0 touchdowns, 5 picks, 280 yards. That's crazy.
yeah, that
Uh,
is.
and Texas played a lot of man. They played a lot. So I think Jahdae Barron's
You're
good.
like in. Wow, you're like in Barron at 17. Okay.
I'm liking Barron at
I
17.
don't mind.
I'm actually loving. You know, I think jokes aside, I think he is the second best. Like, okay, I'm gonna consider Travis a corner. He's the third best corner on the board in my opinion. And I really think that gets
Okay.
backed up when you consider the fact that it's gone Travis one, Campbell, Travis one, Johnson five, no one since. It's up to the Bengals to pick. I think if they don't go for Barron or Morrison, then they'll go for uh, what's his name, Tyreek Williams, because they have Trey Hendrickson. So they're either going to go into your
Hmm.
D line or DB, and that's the smart thing to do because their DBs are not
Yeah.
good. And getting a good DB, look. It, also, another thing, jokes aside, as much as I'm like glazing Barron, Notre Dame played man a lot fucking more than Texas did.
That
And
is
look at what
true.
happened in both games. Who did a better job against Ohio State? Who did a
Good
better
day.
job against Jeremiah Smith?
Good day.
I think they're going to go for him. I
I
think
think that's a
also
good
these
pick.
team needs are important, yes, but they're not as highlighted because,
I don't think they're the end all be all.
like, I would argue DB is way more important for the Bucks than edge rusher and linebacker are. Because
Yeah.
their DBs are constantly on injured reserve. Look at Anton Winfield. That man is always fucking hurt. With these guys, you know, this is a perfect pick for Scourton or Sawyer to go. This is
For
also,
Seahawks?
yeah. They're either gonna go that or O line, but again, no, not really like great O linemen left on the board.
Not a lot. I'm thinking just a nice Mike Green edge rusher pick.
I think we actually are gonna get back to back edge rush picks here, uh, because you'll see why. And I think that these guys have their pick here, and I think that the Natty's going to do some favors for Jack Sawyer, and you know it's going to help that JSN is in fucking Seattle, and he's going to have fucking Ohio State buddies there. I think it's not going to matter for shit. I think Jack Sawyer's stock went up after the final two games of his season because he made that much of an impact in two big games. I think people are
Yeah.
neglecting how much that's going to become a factor now with the college football playoff becoming that much more important.
Yeah.
Because
It
as
just makes more moments. Straight up. It just makes more.
it's but the NFL playoffs are so magical. So I think he's the pick here. Truly, I think he's the pick here. And then again, I think in that
Do you
same
think
light, it's up.
on where I'm just backtracking here a bit. I'm trying to follow. We have Day Barron going 17 to the Bengals.
Jack Sawyer 18 to the Seahawks.
Jack Sawyer to the Seahawks.
Yep. So then,
Okay.
what are you thinking for 19? Because they're just gonna go defense. They could legitimately go best player on the
Yeah.
board. Um,
I think it's Mike Green.
you
I
think
think Mike Green.
I think so too.
Yeah.
I think the Bucks go Mike Green at 19. It's a great pick for them. I really do. Because
I mean, he's fallen far.
because and this is why I think Steelers fans and I think even maybe Texans fans and Ravens fans and Commanders fans are all hoping for this man right here. This man from Ohio State right here, probably the most underrated receiver in the draft. And albeit, I think it's a decent class for receivers. I mean, we had one go. You know what I mean? I do
Yeah.
think Emeka Egbuka is going to be the most I think he'll be the receiver who has the best career out of this class. Um,
Okay.
and I think he's going to end up going. Look, these four teams right here, the one thing I'll tell you that they all have in common, and the only one that's an exception to this, actually, and that's not even true, all four teams have wide receiver ones, to be honest with you, when healthy. Jaden Reed, Cortland Sutton, George Pickens, Lad McConkey.
Yeah.
Houston has fucking Nico Collins. I'm just dumb. Obviously, the Vikings have Addison and Jefferson. If I'm the Broncos right now, your defense just played phenomenal all season. I really don't think you need to make moves on it. It's not a phenomenal O-line
No.
class. Your O-line's good. Do you really trust? And here's the thing. It's such a good running back class, and one running back's gone off the board out of the fucking 12 plus prospects that there are that are legitimately pro ready, and you can probably wait until the third round to get one of them. Give me a Mika Igbukka to the Broncos.
Okay.
How are you feeling about that?
I don't mind it.
There's a reason, I swear.
I was thinking, that's a good uh just like a wide receiver too, I guess. I was
That's
thinking
fine.
you could also have Luther Burden in the slot.
Well,
You throw
I
him in.
have him going to the Steelers.
Okay, I like that too.
That's why I have
I'm
him
fine
going to
with
the
both.
Steelers the next pick. But I think you got to compare what these two players are good at. Ekbuka is going to go from playing with a. Let's go for what it is. Will Howard is a talented pocket passer for the level he's playing at. Like, he played well in all
Mm.
his playoff games. He played good in every regular season game except for one. I think Igbuka is a he's a Tyler Lockett kind of guy. In my opinion, he's the guy where you leave him one on one, and he'll get you a big game, right? And I don't even think that's after the catch. He's a good route runner. He's shifty. He's actually not that small, even though he looks like he is. You know what I mean? I think he's very
Mm.
decent sized. Um, and I think you put him in Denver. The running game in Denver is a problem. I do think they'll get a running back at some point later on. Just don't think right now is the time. If Tyler Warren's available at 20, I would say go Tyler Warren. Because, again, like you said, if you need a tight end and there's an elite tight end, you go for it. Colston Loveland's good. He's not Tyler Warren. He's not Brock Bowers. He's not Sam Laporta, in my opinion. This is the same thing about
No,
the fucking Texas guy. Don't even know where the fuck he is. But I think
it's not
Igbuka's
Tyler
a
Warren.
player that could work really well in the Broncos system with a head coach like Sean Payton. We'll see. I think Luther Burden
I
is a
like it.
Steelers player, through and through.
I think Luther Burden is a Steelers player too. Honestly, I think it makes
He
sense.
just imagine Pickens and Burden on one fucking offense. That's nuts. That'd be
That
sick.
is nuts.
I really do think he'll go to the Steelers. They don't even need defense. So here we are,
I'm really looking at this Chargers pick.
and I think I know who they're gonna pick.
I don't know. I'm really thinking about this
Can I justify my
because
pick
on one
after?
hand,
Go ahead, go ahead.
say your pick and I'll think about it. Just say your pick, I'll think about it.
Making sure I'm not missing. Hey, who the fuck is he? Does he actually fall that much?
What are you looking for?
Jalen Green. Yeah, I wouldn't say we didn't have him get drafted. Wait, does Jalen Green play interior D line? Am I just tripping? Have I just been thinking of Jalen Walker? There's two different players, right?
What are you talking about?
Jalen Green, like Greene for Georgia, plays
Aaron Green.
Jalen.
Oh, Jalen Green.
Yeah, is that not a?
Jalen Walker. Is that what you're talking about?
No, I swear there's someone named Jalen Green. Oh no, it's Jalen Walker. I'm just racist. Fuck. No, yeah, I think. So then that just ruined my whole thing. They're gonna go. They're just gonna go defense here. Um, but again, like, I think the reason for this is very simple. Khalil Khalil Mack is either gonna retire or probably leave in free agency. Replace him.
Yeah.
Simple.
You think it's Scourton?
Or you don't go for edge rusher, you go interior D lineman. But I think it's Scourton. I do. It's a good edge rusher
Okay.
class. Really is.
Green Bay.
I
This
think
is
I think this is where a certain someone goes off the board. About time he does, though.
Are you thinking Benjamin Morrison?
I'm thinking Benjamin Morrison, man. It's a good quarter. He's a good corner. You know, people are gonna try and use that Jeremiah Smith game against him. Jeremiah Smith, you know, arguably gonna be one of the best, if not the best, wide receiver prospect we've ever seen. Uh,
Hmm.
People got to give Morrison his flowers. He played a good season. And I think that
Yeah,
with the
great season.
constant Jair injuries and rotating CB2 and 3s, like, you just stick to it and just go for one. Just stick it. Like, just get an actual CB1 that can stay healthy.
Yeah,
It's a safe pick.
I like that.
What's your team?
Vikings. I'm thinking about it. What are your options? I believe that even though their defense was the highlight of
They
the
need to
season,
improve it.
I still think, yeah,
I was thinking Tyreek Williams.
I would be fine in that. I think that's a good pick.
Yeah, I was thinking Tyreek Williams for
Him
them.
or Grant.
Yeah. The thing is, I think Williams is going to go to Minnesota. It's going to be a lot like what happened last year. Minnesota's going to go for someone immediately right after. The team is going to swoop in and draft the better player. And it's going to show, and Kenneth Grant will be better than Tyreek Williams. But we'll see.
Okay.
He might not be.
Yeah.
Um,
Right.
I think here, though, it's a choice. If I'm McVay, I'm looking at my defense. I'm acknowledging that my secondary and D line are good. And I am just naturally saying, look, you're going to reach on whoever you take here unless you go for Membao. Or whatever the
Yeah.
fuck you say his name. I think that's the correct pick for them here. I think they do need to go O-line. It's not going to ever hurt them there. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
In terms of these dum-dums, look, if the Ravens are smart, they'll just go for Matthew Golden.
Yeah, I think you need it honestly.
Yeah, and he's a good pick for them. He's a speed guy, yards after catch guy. He can, like, get open because he has crazy good separation rates. Like, and not because
I mean, they
he's.
could get a tackle too, though. Ronnie Stanley's getting old.
They'll re-sign him, dude. He's 31. And he's a premier free agent. They're gonna make sure to keep him. They'll hold him hostage. It all depends on free agency. That's what
You
I'm
think
saying.
they'll
We're
hold
gonna
on
do
to him?
multiple, but I really do think as of now
Yeah,
they'll go
yeah,
for him.
that's why we do need him.
In
Okay.
terms of them, these guys right here, this is the team that will go for Demetrius Knight Jr.
Yeah, I think that's a phenomenal pick.
Actually, that's actually exactly that's the team that should go for
That's
Demetrius.
exactly what
That's
they need.
exactly who the fuck
Yeah,
they need. To be honest with you, that's nuts.
yeah,
They actually legitimately only need a linebacker on that defense. So
yeah,
I'm
and
cool
that
with that.
is a perfect pick.
I think for these guys,
Like,
you know,
this is tough.
you say what you want, but me personally, I'm
They're going edge.
well, I'm
Oh,
thinking they need defense.
they need run defense for it.
Yeah, that's what
You're
I'm
right.
saying. They need run defense. It's not great though. Um, and in terms of that, not many great players on the board. Um, I think there's a very real world where they just go for Josh Connerly Jr. and just reinforce the line because
That's not a bad.
it wasn't absurdly bad. It was just mid.
Yeah, but their run defense was so bad. Like
Yeah,
it was like 28th, I think.
yeah, but look at this. Pretty even split.
That's solid.
It's really
Yeah,
not that bad. Um, in terms of comp, I mean, just look decent, like good, great defense, defense, or offense.
oh, Michigan had good
But he
defense.
played Ohio State twice, and I mean,
Yeah,
played Penn State, played Wisconsin, played Michigan. I would give Josh Collins his flowers. I also let's see. There, I mean, there's a world where you end up with a Tez Johnson pick in the fucking first round or an Isaiah Bond pick in the first round. You never know.
you know what? Tez would not be a bad. That would be a good fit for him too.
I agree.
Because you
I do
have
think they
Terry,
just
you
they
have
really could.
Zacchaeus. Like those are like bigger guys. You know,
I know,
you get a speedster in there with Tez.
but
That offense could look really good. But they really do need to. I mean, their run defense. That's what kills them ultimately. That's why they just couldn't beat the Eagles. Because the line was too
seriously,
good, and they have Saquon Barkley in the backfield and Hurts. It's three guys that are going to run it, or two guys that are going to run it all over. I don't know. I mean, I think it's
I know who
still a
they're gonna go.
reach for Tez at 29.
I think they're gonna go for Jalen Walker.
Who- You think Jalen Walker?
Can you imagine this dude on that defense?
That does stop the run.
Yeah,
That is the run defense at its
I'm
finest.
saying it'll be good. Even Jihad Campbell.
Yeah.
It's just Dan. I like Jalen Walker there.
That might be a reach though.
No, I don't think so, dude. You gotta remember, in terms of position and need, there are no edge rushers left, but Jalen Walker is the guy who can play a Fred Warner type of role, a Roquan Smith kind of role. You know what I mean? Be in the pass game.
Good.
He is this year's linebacker prospect. You know, like he is this year's, for lack of a better term, Isaiah Simmons.
Hmm.
I mean, he's not actually. That would be Demetrius Knight Jr. And there's a world where if the Lions don't take him, the Commanders do. There's a very real world where the Commanders go for like Isaiah Bond and Tez Johnson. Now you see where I think Isaiah
Yep.
Bond and Tez Johnson will go. And when I say Isaiah Bond, I mean Isaiah Bond.
No, no,
I know. I don't know how to remove it.
no.
Fuck. All right.
I don't see them. You think they draft wide receiver with their first pick like back to back years? I
Yeah.
can't see him doing it.
Wait.
I don't know. I think you give uh I think you give Keon Coleman one more year to develop, and I think you could look somewhere else.
I don't. I just don't think it's about Keon Coleman. Like I just think it's about Amari Cooper.
You just think they need more receivers.
I just think like if we're looking at the Bills, I don't think they have holes in the team like all around. Like yeah, they have holes in terms of depth, and that was also started last year to end of the year. They got healthy. I think you're gonna look at the Bills and say, what could they have done better to beat the Chiefs? Well, I don't know. Go offensive line. I mean, they could go Josh Connerly here. To be honest, that's probably really who they're gonna pick. But again, does it really seem like a McDermott move to go fucking offensive line at 30th overall?
Yeah, I don't know if they go.
I
I don't know what they
actually
do
think
honestly.
one of these three teams has to take a wide receiver at the end, and I think it will be the Bills.
Yeah, I guess that's fair.
I think these guys.
I think the Eagles.
I
I
think they're
think
gonna
that's a
go
Trey Amos
defense.
pick.
Yeah, I was gonna say Trey Amos. I was thinking they could also go. I think this could be the team that goes for Colston Loveland.
Donovan. No.
I mean, no, it could be a lot of people, dude. The Eagles don't need anything. This could be the team that goes for Scadaboo. You know?
No, they're
No, they
not.
won't.
They're
I'm
not
just,
reaching
I'm
for
just, I'm
Scotty
just fucking around.
first.
No, they will probably go for Trey Amos. They could go for Siobhan
It's
Ravel.
either Amos or yeah. But do they even need a corner? Like now that I'm thinking about it.
Do they need D line? Do they need receiver? Do they need O line? Do they need running back? They need nothing.
Yeah, I
They're
guess
gonna
they need
re-sign
everything.
Zach Bond and then what?
Yeah.
I just think Trey
All
Amos
right,
is
I
smart.
like it.
I like Trey Amos because the Slay leaving.
Yeah,
Safe.
I like that's a smart move.
And then I think finally, Chiefs at
I think
32.
it's a Josh Connolly.
Nick Bolton's a free agent. Um, Josh Uchi's a free agent. And one of their offensive linemen's a free agent as well. Again, bang, bang, bang. Three positions in need. We're going to acknowledge the elephant in the room that Kelsey is probably not going to retire. Then
Yeah, I don't think he is.
I'm saying the smart pick here is to go for Connerly. But I see a
I
very
think so
real world
too.
they could go for Loveland. I would say Connerly's safe though. Here we go.
I think that's a pick. Here we go. We're getting our grade. A plus, baby. What'd they give us?
Didn't give us a grade. So yeah, this is the full Hangover Sports.
This is the full draft. Yeah, I guess we might as well run it through quick.
Yeah, all
And
right.
take a picture. Yeah, download that image too. Download the image. We gotta post it.
So
Gotta post it.
first overall Travis Hunter, second overall Cam Moore, third overall Shador Sanders, fourth is Abdul Carter, fifth is William Johnson, sixth is Ted McMillan, seventh Mason Graham, eight Michael Williams, nine Tyler Warren, 10 Will Campbell, 11 Kelvin Banks Jr., 12 Ashton Jeanty, 13 Malachi Starks, 14 James Pierce Jr., 15 Shamar Stewart, 16 Josh Simmons, 17 Jade Barron, 18 Jack Sawyer, 19 Mike Green, 20 Emeka Egbuka, 21 Luther Burden, 22 Nick Scarrington, 23 Benjamin Morrison, 24 Tyleek Williams, 25 Kenneth Grant, 26 Armand Membo, 27 Matthew Golden, 28 Demetrius Knight Jr., 29 Jalen Walker, 30 Isaiah Bond, 31 Trey Amos, 32 Josh Connerly Jr.
Wow.
Anything you didn't like
I
that
don't
you
know.
guys saw in this? Anything that you have problems with? Save it for the next mock draft. We'll address any concerns there.
Yeah, well, we need to wait probably a few weeks to a month before we make our next one.
I agree. We can do it right before free agency opens.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't know
I
what
like
happens
this. I think
first,
this is
free agency
solid.
or the combine, but whichever one does, go with it.
Yeah,
But yeah,
I think this is a solid start though.
I like it. I like it. I think everyone got their position of need filled out, which is good. A lot of things will change with shit happening in the off season, so we'll just see.
Yeah, and trades could happen. I mean, yeah. Well, I mean,
We'll see. Realistically,
it'll never be 100%, but it's about as close as you can get.
Super Bowl first, unfortunately. Go Saquon.
Yeah.
All right.
Go Saquon. No more Chiefs.
Until next time, you Dooners dimes.